There we go. Now I got to get to my dinosaurs. We'll have a combination of PowerPoint and some videos on dinosaur digs. There we go. One of the most exciting things that I've done in the past, probably 10 years, I used to explore caves. A spelunker is what it was called, but last year, or might have been the year before last, I went on a dinosaur dig, and it was exciting. This is the part of the backbone of a Brachiosaurus. You can see the size of the animal on the back there, but we found a bunch of dinosaur bones, and that was very exciting to me. And so I'm calling myself this year Dr. Dino Digger. I've got my hammer, and I'm all ready to go. So we're going to look into some of these things this evening as it relates to dinosaurs. Steve already told you about some of the things, but the word dinosaur comes from two Greek words, dinos, which means terrible, and saurus, which means lizard, hence terrible lizard. Dinosaur crossing, you gotta look out there. Oh yeah, whatever. What happened to the dinosaurs? Well, I'm gonna talk to you about some stupid but popular theories that they've talked about. First of all, one popular theory that's been advocated particularly the past about 22 years, they say that 65 million years ago, a giant asteroid came and hit the Earth, and it threw up clouds of dust and choked off the sun, and the dinosaurs died. And then there's others who say that volcanoes erupted and caused the extinction of the dinosaurs. Did they go with the flow? I don't know. That's 2/3 of a pun, and you know what 2/3 of a pun is, don't you? P-U. But anyway, okay. All right, let's move on. Dinosaur extinction theories. This was in International Falls, Minnesota News, 1993. New theory, lack of oxygen, not asteroids, killed the dinosaurs. And you go through, dinosaurs could not have existed without more oxygen in the air to start with. And they, spin a yarn on there, and they talk about great ages, and it would be like taking a dinosaur for a stroll at sea level up to 6,000 to 7,000 feet. And so dinosaurs, they speculate, died for lack of oxygen. I need more air. Well, some believe they didn't have enough to eat. However, on the other hand, some believe they died from overeating. I mean, all of these are theories that have been advanced throughout the years because they want anything but what the Bible has to say. They do not want to believe the Bible. Some think it was indigestion. I was going to burp, but I don't think that that would be appropriate. So you can just read it there, okay? One guy thinks they all took up smoking. This was a cartoon, you know, when all these theories were being advanced. This was a cartoon that was published in a cartoon that's called The Far Side. I used to read The Far Side, and they would have some crazy cartoons in it. No television, no stereos, no cell phones, no computers, no malls. I think that boredom killed the dinosaurs. Not really. Well, let's look at the dinosaurs. Can you name the dinosaurs there? Probably not, but the first one's the one with the long neck is the Brachiosaurus, and the second one is the Parasaurolophus. The third one is the Velociraptor. The fourth one is the Triceratops, and the third one is Tyrannosaurus Rex, which I think everybody, T-Rex, would recognize T-Rex there. In fact, there's a T-Rex tooth back on the table if you want to see it. And then the last one is the Stegosaurus. I'll probably show you part of a video tomorrow from they discovered a Stegosaurus. But my favorite dinosaur of them all is this one. Very rare. This is Blondosaurus. Okay. Oh, well, what can I tell you? 7 facts about dinosaurs. Number 1, God created the dinosaurs. For in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea, and all that in them is, according to Exodus chapter 20 and in verse 11. Does that leave anything else, anything out? That's a rhetorical question, because the answer is no. Dinosaurs were in the Garden of Eden. And that was only about 6,000 years ago. Fact number 2, some dinosaurs were real big. I just talked to you about Brachiosaurus here, and I want you to see the Brachiosaurus toe bone. I want you to look at the Brachiosaurus toe bone. The Brachiosaurus toe bone is more than, just the toe bone is more than 8 inches long, okay? And there you would see a little bit about how big the Brachiosaurus toe bone is. There's a picture of how it would be drawn. And if you want to look at Brachiosaurus, he is 82 feet long. That is a long dinosaur. And if you want to see what his footprint looked like, there's kids. The North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, that is, and this is Glen Rose, Texas, where they found these. And it's, here you see his thigh bone, all right? There it is. National Geographic, January 1993, on page 35, we would see right there, that is it. And there is a man standing next to it. Dinosaur Provincial Park in Alberta, Canada, there has been over 150 complete dinosaur skeletons that have been discovered there. About 1995, a dinosaur skeleton was found in Alberta, Canada, that was 150 feet long. That is half of a football field long. When you think about that, that's a big animal. He could have easily looked into the 6th floor of any building. Well, and he weighed 100 tons. That would be about 14 loaded school buses that the Brachiosaurus would. And you wouldn't want to be stepped on by him. There's one thing about this dinosaur that I just don't like. And I'm going to tell you about what it is in just a few minutes. In fact, we may not even get to it this evening. You might have to wait till tomorrow. So you're going to have to come back. Fact number 3, and here's what I want you to see. Dinosaurs may have been called dragons. After Noah's flood, God described a creature to Job called Leviathan. All right? In Job chapter 41, it says, "Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook, or his tongue with a cord which thou lettest down? Canst thou put a hook in his nose, or bore his jaw through with a thorn? Will he make any supplication unto thee? Will he speak soft words unto thee? Will he make a covenant with thee?" In other words, he can't be tamed. "Will thou take him for a servant forever? Wilt thou play with him as with a bird, or wilt thou bind him for thy maidens, your kids, your daughters? Shalt the companion make a banquet of him? Shall they part him among the merchants?" And the stupid Schofield says, "A whale or a whirlpool? No. Canst thou draw out Leviathan with a hook?" Job chapter 41 and verse 1. Little fisherman guy? No, I don't think so. Now, Job 41:15. "His scales are his pride, shut up together as with a close seal." Scales back to back, Job says. And look at this now. This is Job 41, verse 18. "By his nesting a light doth shine, and his eyes are like the lids of the morning." And so, look at this. Job 41, verse 19. "Out of his mouth goeth burning lamps, and sparks of fire leap out." This is talking about a fire-breathing dragon, Leviathan. Now just hang on. Job 41:20, "Out of his nostrils goeth smoke, as out of a seething pot or a cauldron." Right there in your King James Bible. "His breath kindleth coals, and flames goeth out of his mouth." Leviathan was a real big, tough, scaly-skinned, smoky nostrils, fire from the mouth of God, dragon. "Thou didst divide the sea by thy strength. Thou breakest the heads of the dragons in the waters. Thou breakest the heads of Leviathan in pieces. Again, we're here at Psalm 74, 13 and 14. It says, in that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword will punish Leviathan, the piercing serpent, even Leviathan, that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. And that's all synonymous with Leviathan here. Isaiah 14, verse 29. It says this. It says, for out of the serpent's root shall come forth a cockatrice, and his fruit shall be a fiery, flying serpent. Very interesting. Is this a dragon or a dinosaur? Dinosaurs, Atlas Edition, Apart Works Incorporated, 1993, page 47, dragon or dinosaur. Many people think that the legend of the dragon began about 2,000 years ago. It says when huge bones were dug up in China, they were dinosaur bones, but people at that time did not know that dinosaurs had ever existed. And then there is exactly in the late 1930s, and that's the picture of the spectacle that was taking place. And here's what they called it, Lufenagasaurus, 1941. The word dinosaur, as Steve already mentioned to you, was invented by Sir Richard Owen in 1841. Before that time, they were known as dragons, because 1841. Now, there are thousands of legends of people seeing or killing dragons. Now, very often, these legends have partial truth in them. And it's very interesting to trace this history. Siegfried slaying the dragon Farnir. According to Norse legend, the dragon guarded a treasure in the land of Githahead. And this is from A Dragon's Natural History by Carl Shuker Schuker on page 45. Gilgamesh slaying a dragon, the great dinosaur mystery by Paul Taylor on page 37. And you'll know that Gilgamesh, also there's the Gilgamesh epic, which speaks of the flood. When I have my Bible museum out, I have on display the ancient tablet facsimile that's in the British Museum of the Gilgamesh epic, talking about the worldwide flood. And Gilgamesh is said to have slain a dragon. Now, Alexander the Great reported that when he conquered parts of what is now India in 326 BC, his soldiers were scared by the great dragons that lived in the caves. Now, nobody doubts Alexander the Great. They know that he lived, and he talks about what he conquered, and they believe all of that. Why would he make up a story about his troops being fearful when they came to conquer what is now in India, and they were fearful of the great dragons that lived in caves? St. George slaying a dragon in 275 AD. St. George was martyred for his faith in April 23rd, 303. We all believe that. He is the patron saint of England and of Portugal. And this is in Duane Gish's book, Dinosaurs by Design, on page 81. And they know that George actually lived, and he was actually martyred for the cause of Christ. Beowulf slew many dragons and was killed while fighting a winged dragon in 583 AD at the age of 88. We have Rostam slaying a dragon. That's in Iranian mythology. And in 900 AD, an Irish writer told of an encounter with a large beast with iron nails on its tail, which pointed backwards. It had a head like a horse and had thick legs and strong claws. Very interesting. And then Marco Polo. Marco Polo visited China in 1271 AD and reported that the emperor raised dragons to pull his chariot in parades. Now, what's really interesting about that is that nobody doubts Marco Polo, nobody doubts his expeditions. They're recorded very well. So why should they doubt the fact that the emperor raised dragons to pull his chariot in parades? Most ancient cultures had dragons in them. We go back, The Unexplained, Volume 3, 1985, page 386. There's also the VOLUSPA, the Volspa account of a dragon called Nithhogar by the Vikings as recorded in After the Flood by Bill Cooper on page 142. Then you have the Bulgarian postage stamp, and then the Russian medallion, and then Chinese New Year, Vietnamese New Year, dragons, Honolulu Festival in Hawaii, dragons, Honolulu Festival in Hawaii again, a close-up view. 4 reasons why I believe in fire-breathing dragons. Number 1, the scriptural evidence. Number 2, because of the history behind it. And number 3, it is chemically possible to do that. Number 4, because of the anatomy of some of the dinosaurs. So we're going to look at some of that right now. Going back to the New College Dictionary by Webster's, copyrighted in 1951, it said this: dragon, now rare, a fabulous animal, generally monstrous winged scaly serpent lizard, S-U-R-A-I-N, surain, and this was based on the New International Dictionary, 2nd edition of 1934, 1st edition 1898, but they changed it in 1970. In 1970, dragon, they say, a mythical monster, usually represented as a large reptile with wings and claws and breathing out fire and smoke. But look at what it was originally. Oh, you know what they're doing with gender today? If you get your passport, you can be male, female, or other. See, they're changing things. Well, this is genuine. This is a Komodo dragon, and the Komodo dragon is eating a cow. I would not want to face an angry Komodo dragon. And again, they are alive today. Commonly reported dragon sightings in England and Wales. Distribution of English and Whale dragons located in support by folklore documentation, and it gives all these different places where there was reported sightings of dragons in England and Wales. It is chemically possible for dragons to breathe fire. So I don't believe it. Well, just hang on. You ever heard of the Bombardier Beetle? Well, there are three chemical acts, as you can see there, 28% hydrogen peroxide. You got the explosion sac. You have this other here. It comes together and it shoots fire out its behind. The Amazing Story of Creation by Duane T. Gish, the Institute of Creation Research. It comes out at 212 degrees from the behind of the Bombardier Beetle. The Bombardier Beetle and fire ants are several illustrations here. I hope that he likes hot food. The frog goes to get a Bombardier Beetle. Oh, he's in for a hot delivery for sure. And lunch, guess what happens next? He's not going to keep him in its mouth. I want water. Stupid frog. Timing's important because if things didn't work exactly, the beetle would blow up, to be sure. But the anatomy of some dinosaurs illustrates that this is a possibility. This is a Parasaurolophus, and look at this chamber right here. Goes way back like that. And the longest nasal chamber of any dinosaur. It's certainly possible that he could have been fire-breathing. There's one thing about dinosaurs, this dinosaur that I just don't like. And in tomorrow sometime, I'll tell you what it is. Okay, fact number 4. Dinosaurs and people have lived together. Show and tell. Have humans and dinosaurs lived together? Of course, it says in National Geographic in 1993, no human being has ever seen a live dinosaur. However, in Narleck, France, it was named in honor of the dragon slain there. That's how it got its name. It was described as being bigger than an ox and having long, sharp, pointed horns on its head. And this is from the book Great Dinosaur Mystery on page 40. Triceratops. That's what was slain there. And they had given that dragon a name, and they named the city after it. You already know what I'm going to say. I just don't like it, and I'll tell you later. All right. In May 13th, 1572, Italian scientist Ulysses, and you can look at his last name for yourself, obtained the dead body of a dragon and had it mounted for display in the museum. Its neck was 3 meters long. That's about 10 feet. Its neck was about 10 feet long. Now, I have to stop here because it is refreshment time, so I'm going to dismiss you for refreshments. You can either take the elevator or you can walk down the stairs, and there's adult refreshments. And I don't have a piece of paper or a pen here, but when you come back, okay, Mark does, so Is there anybody?